Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz drummer, composer, and educator Darryl Kniffen. He spent some time talking to Neon Jazz about his newest 2018 CD called From Planet Kniffen. Today, he is leading his own sextet, and he is also busy as a freelance drummer. He's an innovative music educator, and in September 2016, he was named the Outstanding Teacher of the Year from the University of Vermont. He stays busy doing all of the things he's always wanted to do: record, perform, and teach. So please get to know him and dig this interview, my friends.
Darryl, thanks for taking a minute out for me today. I appreciate it.
Totally, happy to.
So let's dive right in here and talk about your latest album, From Planet Kniffen. Talk to me about this album.
Kind of a combination of melodies and scraps that I've compiled for about 3 years or so. And I got a great group of guys together, and we recorded it in Amherst, Mass. at North Spire Recording Studio. And it's kind of a combination of all my influences. So you're going to hear, it's dreamy, it's mysterious, it's got moments of bebop, it's got moments of metal, it's got some dance grooves in there. It's high energy, and then it goes down and will be very mellow. So it's kind of this combination of a bunch of different musical settings and worlds, and a combination of all these types of styles too. But at the same time, it's very cohesive. Although there's many different styles, it definitely has a sound, I think.
Awesome. How do you sell this to the listener when you can't really specifically say that you're in one classification or of another with an album like this? How do you actually sell your sound and who you are to the listener?
Yeah, I guess it's like a musical world in itself. So you're kind of entering, News from Planet Kniffen. You're entering that musical world of Planet Kniffen. Yeah, it's got its own brand, really. But it's definitely, I think if you give it a listen, the listener should hopefully be able to be like, oh, you know what, that's Kniffen. Because it's got, it's very melodic. It's very, it's dark at times. It's dreamy again. It's, so there's overarching themes, I think, that kind of tie it all together.
Talk to me about your childhood. Where did you grow up, and how did you get so involved in music?
Yeah, so I grew up in upstate New York in Clifton Park. I went to Shenendehowa High School. And I was in a very musical family. My mom plays guitar. She's a teacher, but she plays guitar on the side. It's for fun. Her joke is she's been working on Stairway to Heaven for 25 years. So every time she picks up the guitar, she practices it. Pretty great. And Eric Clapton unplugged tunes and whatnot. My dad, he was a rocker. He would be blasting Cream in the car all the time, or the Yardbirds or something like that, or the Everly Brothers. And he's also a big jazz head as well. So we would go down to the city and watch jazz shows and whatnot. So I spent my time on the weekends going down to Skokie, New York, which is a little bit south of Albany. And we would always play music with my dad and my cousins. So I have a picture of me on my website playing drums on my grandpa's lap when I was like 6 months old. And, got my first drum set when I was like 5. And then got into, so I've always been playing in like garage bands or playing with family bands. My whole family, they're a bunch of hippies. So, they're always turning me on to cool music. Return to Forever, my uncle got me into them, and I was hooked. Grateful Dead, Return to Forever. They would throw on Marcus Miller and all sorts of stuff. So, that was kind of my roots growing up. And then I got into, I had a great music teacher by the name of Matt Canicio, and he taught at Shenendehowa for several years. And he was my drum instructor. He's sponsored by Yamaha and Fabian. And He's fantastic. He studied at Eastman and trained school music, and so we got into doing private lessons, and I was, doing the jazz band and wind ensemble at school. And so yeah, I was doing private lessons with him. He got me really into jazz, and I was always a rocker myself, so I kind of well, metalhead actually. I got into like rock, punk, metal, death metal, all that type of stuff, and then I got into jazz and classical and got that going as well. So yeah, then I went to Crane School of Music, which is where Matt went, and finished my studies there with Jim Peterzak up at Crane School of Music. And shout out to Jim. He just had his 50th anniversary this past weekend. He's been teaching at Crane School of Music, singing pop dance for 50 years. So very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
You're a freelance drummer. You have the sextet. You have this new album coming out. You seem to stay pretty busy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, gotta stay busy. Yeah, I do what I love. I like to break down my life in three categories, I guess, or three pillars. Spend time with the people you love, bring awesome music to the world, and get kids hooked on music. So that's what I'm about.
Well, and you've gotten around too, playing with a lot of people in your day. What do you learn from people that have more experience from you? And I ask this in the context of you're an educator and you have to give your knowledge and your experience to students, but what do veteran players give to you?
I was going to the Vermont Jazz Center for a while and playing with people like Eugene Newman. Eugene just got, so much knowledge. So he would attend, he would host the Wednesday night jam. A bunch of great players would go there. And it really made a nice community in southern Vermont. And people would come up from Massachusetts and whatnot. And, but yeah, it was, it was great to see young and old people there. And, Eugene would usually lead it. And, he would be super positive and then just offer little, moments of wisdom to people like, hey, what if you started this like super, super soft and then like really made this contrast when you get to the B section or something like that. So he had just little ways of little guiding wisdom throughout, which was, super helpful.
Take that into being an educator. What do you want to do with your students? What do you want to teach them?
I want to help my students become lifelong music participants. So I understand not all of them are going to become, touring musicians or something like that. That's not the goal. The goal is for them to be musical throughout their life. So if that means that they're playing keyboard as an amateur and they're composing songs just for fun, or they're playing in a rock band, or even if they're listening to music, let me help them listen in a critical way, or a way that, develops their perception so they understand the art. Like, what is this song, or what is this piece expressing? How can I relate to it? Let's listen for the form. If they're engaging in music, whatever vehicle they want to do, if they want to write, hip-hop beats on their computer, I'll help them with that. If they want to make music videos, if they want to play guitar, if they want to, play a punk song on guitar, whatever their goals are, I just want to assist with those goals and help them, develop that passion, spark their interest and help them be creative. Yeah.
What's your future look like? You got a new album out. You're on a stride here. What are you looking for your career?
Yeah, so I just want to keep doing what I'm doing, man. I just want to, like I said, I work on three things. I spend time with the people that are important to me. Number two, I want to just bring awesome music to the world. And I think I got a unique type of music that I want to bring to people. And I think people will enjoy it. And then number three, I just want to get kids hooked on music, and keep that spark going.
Concerts, jazz or otherwise, have you seen that have really influenced you in the way you view music?
I saw Victor Wooten at the Egg in Albany. Must have been like 10 at least 10 years ago. And there was a moment where all of a sudden I felt like it was a spiritual experience for sure. And everyone all of a sudden felt it, and everyone stood up at the same time. It was weird. Everyone stood up at the same time, and it wasn't cued by the band or anything. Everyone felt this energy and just like stood up. We're like, whoa! It was just so powerful. His musicality, obviously, and the richness of textures and cool harmonies, and then he had like the levitating chair and stuff like that. I think that's cool. Yeah, so I'm hoping to bring some of that. I want to work on the stage presence. I was looking at some like cool abstract like metal sculptures last night online to like get like 4 metal sculptures on our stage when we perform. I want to create like a visual experience as well as a audio experience for the fans. So anything to, I just want to be unique, and anything to be innovative, and anything to have your own touch on things is cool. Any type of creative thing. So yeah, I'm trying to with the stage thing. I want to create like this surreal type dreamy experience visually too. Yes, and I think the music lends itself to that.
Why do you love jazz? Why do you love music and jazz?
Yeah, jazz is like the epitome of creativity. I've always been a very creative person, and it's the perfect avenue for creativity. Because anything goes, and you're just expressing yourself, and no one can say that's right or wrong. It's just what you're feeling and doing. So I think it's great. I think it's a beautiful art form.
Let me ask you this. I asked you about shows that you've seen in your life. If you could get into a time machine and go back and see a jazz show, any show, where are you going to go? Who are you going to see?
It would be great to see some of the greats. I mean, to be in a club and see John Coltrane or something like that would just be remarkable. Just to be in that vibe and feel the time period and the energy of, that music was so new at the time, and just the whole energy of jazz at the time, I think would just be really, really striking.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Everyone has a version of you, your family, your friends, your fans, but who do you think you are?
I think I'm a kind person. I think I'm a creative person. I think I'm a quirky person. People that know me, I can be pretty quirky and goofy. I think I'm a hard worker. I like to think I inspire my kids. Yeah, that's a little bit about that.
I like it. I think that's a great way to kind of wrap everything up. I always kind of like to get a portal into who you are and what you're all about. Thank you for opening up about the new album. Good luck with
Absolutely.
it, and I appreciate the time, man.
Yeah, you can check out the new album. It'll be on my website, newsfromplanetniffen.com. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, News from Planet Kniffen, YouTube, all that stuff, and it'll be on Bandcamp as well as available digitally everywhere else too. Hey man, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to yet another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in New York, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Darryl for reaching out, for his time and his music. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz, all the time, the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.